at the same time, we also want to make sure that we're maximizing the level of debt that we're able to use. With low interest rates, we want to take out some debt to make sure that we're, able to, maximize low interest rates, take out debt to fund our city projects. So I'm interested to see this upcoming year to fund countercyclical government spending process if we're going to try to raise this net debt service from 6.92 to our 7% limit. I think, we should take advantage of our low interest rates as they currently stand before we see, rates rise to battle inflation. So I'd be interested to see if we increase that 6.92% level. And then again, towards the end here, the city will talk about different capital investments that they're planning on making in this year's capital budget cycle. So we saw in last year's presentation, they talked about the Boston Arts Academy, which is a large increased expenditure, improved streets and transportation, bridges, things of that nature. I don't know if I was muted earlier, so I just want to make sure that everyone heard kind of the first part of the presentation where we're going through the capital plan. Again, it's a 5-year predictive capital plan that we put together to look at our capital financing for the future, things like roads, bridges, schools. Unlike operating, it's a little bit more of a fixed process due to contracting and the predictive nature of capital projects, as opposed to things like snow removal, which is unpredictable. So that's it for the capital budget. It's a little bit more straightforward. Before I end this presentation, I also want to bring in one more page that I'm going to share with everyone here. Perfect. I believe, bear with me one sec. Great, I just wanted to make sure we were sharing the right page here. So this is another page when everyone's looking at the city budget they should look at. Go to boston.gov/departments/budget. So I just showed you a PowerPoint that kind of provides an overview of the revenue base for the city, as well as the operating expense and the capital expense. Sorry about that. I guess I was sharing the wrong page. So we just went over the PowerPoint presentation that the administration finance team will present to the city council on Wednesday. I thought that was a great, overall summary of what to anticipate in terms of, what the revenue budget for the city is going to be based on our income streams, as well as what we should anticipate in terms of our operating expense for our different departmental budgets, as well as our capital projects. So now I'm going to show you something that everyone should look at if you're interested in the city budget. It's a little bit more of a detailed line by line breakout of what this departmental expenses for the city are. You can go to boston.gov/departments/budget to see this page. And it's shared up here. So when you're looking at this document, they'll include an executive summary that kind of breaks down, what impacts this past fiscal year has had on our budget, the aspirational hopes for the administration, and as well as like an overview. However, if you go to volume 2, it provides more of a specific breakdown for each department. So I think, it's a good thing to look at in terms of, where our dollar amounts, how they performed in the previous year and how they're looking at performing this year. Let's look at economic development, for example. So you'll see on this page, it'll break down 3 major lines. It'll have your economic development team as well as all the departments that fall under the economic development arm. So BPDA, Boston Planning and Development Agency, Consumer Affairs and Licensing, OED, which is the Office of Economic Development, Office of Tourism. So when you go into each of these sub-departments that fall under economic development, you'll see kind of a overall, this is what's called a rolled up budget line item. This is the public facing document. Sometimes you're able to get an Excel that has a little bit more of a breakout line by line, but this is a great thing to look at when you're looking at just kind of your general cost by department. So you're going to see the operating budget for each sub-department, their capital budget, and then any external expenditures that they incurred. It does what's called a trailing 2. So you'll see the trailing 2 years. So you're going to see the actual budget cost for 2018, the actual budget cost for 2019, the total appropriated amount for fiscal year 20, and the actual budgeted amount for fiscal year 21. So when we're looking at our budget, we want to look at what the actual cost for those departments were in the previous 2 years, what the budgeted amount was for the trailing fiscal year, and then also what the total budget is for this upcoming year in the presented budget. What adjustments did the city make? Sometimes you'll see a large increase in a line item. Why is that? Did they include a new program? Did they expand their staff? Things of that nature. Additionally, did they over appropriate funds in the previous year, 2020? And is that why there's a lower budgeted amount fiscal year 2021, which will be 2022? Or did they underestimate the appropriation in the previous fiscal year, and did they compensate by increasing that in the new budgeted amount? So again, when you're going through these different departments, you'll see the different sub-departments, and you'll be able to see a breakout. They'll talk about the project mission for each sub-department that falls under kind of the larger umbrella. Again, this is the economic development department, which has a lot of sub-departments such as BPDA. It'll talk about project mission. It'll talk about its capital financing, the number of employees that it has, things along that nature. Again, we could spend another few hours going through each department individually. I'm probably going to do that as we approach each week to week. I'll look at what the scheduled budgeting hearing is for that week, and we can go through each department independently, kind of see what the pro forma budget is for this upcoming year, and then kind of break down what departments fall under those departmental categories, and what increase or decrease in funding we're kind of seeing. They do they'll give you an org chart for each sub-department as well. So you can kind of see what really falls under each departmental category. Again, when you're going through these budgets, there's a lot that falls under each departmental category. So sometimes, for instance, our Office of Housing Stability, which assists people seeking rental assistance, falls under our Housing and Neighborhood Development subarm. So you kind of have to do some digging if you're looking for a specific sub-department. It'll usually fall under a larger departmental head. So if you're looking for something specific, it may take a few minutes of clicking through different links to kind of figure out where exactly you want to go. But again, I'm going to be doing, I'm going to try to keep up with the videos so I can help people kind of navigate each department. So yeah, so I thank everyone for joining us. If you joined us from the previous video, again, I apologize for the audio cutting out there. I think the city's budget's an important thing, specifically as we see the impacts of COVID, really take a toll on our city. I think that we have to make sure that we're maintaining, a strong credit rating, and we're really making sure that we're funding these programs effectively to help the citizens of Boston as best we can. I previously worked for Councilor Kenzie Bach, who was the chair of Ways and Means last year, as her budget director. So I'm, happy to answer any questions anyone may have. Feel free to shoot me a message. And again, I'll do my best to keep up with these hearings week to week to make sure that we're really, I think the best thing that we can do as public officials is have a strong communication with the members of our city. I think the more educational tools that we have out there, the more informed our decision making can be, and the more participatory of a process we can really have. So again, I thank everyone who made it through our 2 videos here. Apologies if I cut out at any points. I am still adjusting to speaking in a public facing capacity online. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to shoot me a message. As always, I appreciate everyone's time, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.